President Trump welcoming Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the White House yesterday as we take a live look at D.C. right now. The two discussing tariffs, Iran, and Gaza. Trump also saying his administration will be holding direct high-level talks with Iran, this on Saturday, over Tehran's nuclear program.
And this was big, Sean, because there had been a back and forth about whether or not these talks would be direct or indirect. And the president was clear. He says, we're going to make it direct. There were some questions about who would be speaking on behalf of the president. Normally, you'd think perhaps the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, would be involved in those talks. Perhaps the Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, who's been in the mix of all of this, would be involved. So just a few short days away from finding out the key details. In the meantime, let's head to our White House correspondent, Mike Carter. He joins us live from the North Lawn with a few more details. Mike, good morning.
Hey, guys, good morning. Yeah, this is big news. Rather than use an intermediary, the United States will talk directly with Iran on Saturday. President Trump saying such during his meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday. These will be high-level talks, direct talks with Iran on Saturday, trying to discuss the future of Iran's nuclear program. Netanyahu yesterday saying that Israel and the United States are united in the goal that Iran doesn't get nuclear weapons. Meanwhile, the Institute for Science and National Security says Iran already has enough weapons-grade uranium to start building nuclear weapons in just a matter of weeks.
Having direct talks with Iran, and they've started. It'll go on Saturday. We have a very big meeting, and we'll see what can happen. And I think everybody agrees that doing a deal would be preferable to doing the obvious. And the obvious is not something that I want to be involved with, or frankly, that Israel wants to be involved with if they can avoid it. So we're going to see if we can avoid it. But it's getting to be very dangerous territory. And hopefully those talks will be successful.
Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is calling on foreign officials to keep their cool over President Trump's new tariffs. Bessent calling on world leaders not to escalate, but instead drop their own tariffs and non-tariff barriers. Quote, and at a point, President Trump will be ready to negotiate, says Bessent. Asked Monday if he would consider a pause on his widespread tariffs, President Trump saying, quote, we're not looking at that. Unquote. The president says he is open to negotiations if we can make a really fair deal, Trump says, and a good deal for the United States. And President Trump is adding that it is possible to have both negotiated settlements as well as permanent tariffs. Each country will be evaluated based on their own individual tariff needs and the needs of the United States. Tonight, just after midnight, President Trump will invoke those individualized reciprocal tariffs, mainly charging those countries with some of the highest, worst offenders. President Trump says those are the countries with the largest trade deficits versus the United States. We'll send it back to you guys.
Yeah, it's still time, though, for those nations to pick up the phone and make a call and perhaps make a deal if they so choose. Mike Carter joining us from the White House. Thank you so much.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.